Even though new technology is always appearing in the DJ space, some things can't be forgotten. You see, it all started with vinyl, and even though this format is not the primary source of music anymore, the ability to control a moving record when mixing is still something craved by DJs. The Hercules DJcontrol Inpulse T7 is the first to bring the idea of turntable platters to an affordable controller aimed at beginners. Not only that, but it's got beat matching aids to help DJs learn the basics, control advanced performance features via the performance pads, and access a multitude of software effects. Okay, so let's talk about the Platters first. This controller harnesses the technology from the roots of DJing with a belt drive motor. Now, I would never recommend somebody buy a pair of belt drive 12-inch turntables. However, it works in this controller and is an ingenious way to bring down the cost. You see, the smaller the platter, the more torque you can get from a belt drive mechanism. It gets up to speed in just 1/10 of a second. I've tested this a lot and it feels great for scratching and mixing. Trust me, it works like a charm. It comes with its own 7-inch vinyl, but shout out to Hercules for these nice personalized white ones for crossfader. You can fit any 7-inch vinyl in its place, and the mechanism ultimately just traps the record in place. And you have 2 different slip mats inside the box as well, which provides different feelings depending on how you want the vinyl to feel, whether you want it to be a bit tighter to the platter or whether you want it to be a bit smoother. For the software, to clarify, this is a DJ controller, and it plugs into your laptop and controls either Dejuiced, which is Hercules' own software, or third-party favourite Serato DJ Lite, with the Pro version available after a paid upgrade. It must be powered separately by the DC power on the back though. It's not USB powered. The music you want to use can either be sourced from integrated streaming services on both software or just played from locally stored files on your laptop. I personally prefer Serato DJ Pro over the Dejuiced software, but it's worth noting that Dejuiced is free and it has access to all the advanced performance features out of the box. You would need to upgrade to the Pro version of Serato to unlock 50% of the controller's features with that version of the software. As for the build quality, I think it feels excellent for its price point. I love that the legs fold out to bring the controller closer to your level, and it even allows for a laptop stand to fit nicely underneath. It's also great if there are any spillages near the unit, as you may find yourself taking this out to parties, and thanks to the Pro outputs featured along the back, and coming in at only 5 kilograms, is quite easy to take to a private party, get plugged in, it's not too heavy, and you can still get good sound quality. The feel is excellent too, for the price point, apart from the crossfader feels a little flimsy for a controller aimed at those who want to start scratching. However, I can't knock this too much, because this isn't a Pro unit. Maybe it's something that could be updated on a future release. I've got to shout out Mojax on the DJ City channel, who has spoken to a third-party company, and they're working on a replacement board that basically will allow you to swap out all 3 faders, because they're all on one board, for better quality ones. So it's something to keep an eye out for if you're planning to do a lot of scratching on it. Let's look at the features that remain the same across all 3 software: Serato DJ Lite, Serato DJ Pro, and Dejuiced. For example, we've got our usual controls such as the cue and the play button. We can cue the track up like this. It doesn't move the platter when it's in this mode, but when we press play, the platter starts to move, and then you've got control by using the top of the platter. You can see when I hold it and I've got the light slip mats on, it still spins freely underneath, which is great. We've also got the sync controls here. The pitch adjust will allow you to speed up and slow down the track. And you can turn the key lock on and off above this by holding shift and pressing key lock. You can also change the range of this by tapping this, and you can go much faster, much slower. And that's the same across all the different softwares. The beat matching controls are unique in the sense that if we have a track playing on both sides, you can then see whether you need to slow down or speed up the tracks. For example, this one needs to go faster, and when it gets to the right speed, it will then light up in the middle. You can see this goes green, and then also the beta line here can tell us if we're in phrase or out of phrase, but this depends on the grid being right as well. These are just nice features to have on a controller like this because it helps beginners out to get started with their timing and beat matching. You can, however, turn this off by just pressing this button, and you could even challenge yourself by just turning it off once you feel confident and seeing if you can get it right. The mixer section has all your usual controls, from a low, mid and high EQ and a gain control, which is extra volume, to the up faders and a crossfader for blending and cutting. The crossfader can be switched off with this switch or turned to a mixing mode. The middle in the switch is the scratching mode if you want to practice scratching. Above that we have the headphone cues, and we also have the master cue, so you can blend between the master and the headphones, the master and the channels through the headphones. This is all controlled here with the cue and the mix and the volume for the headphones, and the headphones have a 1/4 and 1/8 inch output on the front of the unit. Underneath the EQs we have the filter controls, which sound really nice. And then underneath that we have the effects paddles. Now these vary between the different effects, between the different software, but we can simply turn one on and that will apply the effect. We can change the depth of the effect, try a different effect, we can combine them. We can change the beat fraction of the effects by using the plus and the minus. If you hold this down, it just latches on while you hold it down until you release. Like I said, the effects that are available are software effects, so they can be found within the 3 different softwares. At the top of the mixer, we have the mic controls. You can plug in a mic via the jack on the back, or you've got the master control here, which is your overall master output going to your speakers. Each deck has its own control to scroll up and down your library and click between different playlists, and you can go back and forth. Moving over to the actual performance features, we have an auto loop here, so we can choose on Serato Lite, for example, from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 beats. We click it in to activate, and we can chop it down and make it bigger. In the other softwares, you have more parameters to choose from, different loop lengths, and you can go much tighter and much longer. Something really worth noting here is this unit has dedicated buttons for stems control. All the softwares have stems control, but Serato definitely reigns supreme over Dejuiced in the sound quality. Have a listen. We can instantly make an instrumental by pressing this button, or instantly make an a cappella by pressing this one. And it sounds great. At the bottom, we have the nudge button, so we can speed the track up or slow it down temporarily without having to use the actual platter. So that's really good for getting your beat matching and timing right. And then we also have parameter controls by holding shift and pressing these two, which allow us to find more parameters within the pad modes. In Serato DJ Lite, we've got hot cues, so we can jump to any part of the track. It's only the top 4 pads that work in Serato DJ Lite. Then in the next mode, we've got loops, so we can activate different length loops. This mode, we've got the stems, so we can turn all 4 different stems on and off, which is great. And then the last mode is the sampler, and we can load samples in and trigger one-shots. Then if you upgrade to Serato DJ Pro, you'll be able to access more pad modes. Now we're in Serato DJ Pro, you'll see I can set up to 8 different hot cues. In my loop mode, I have beat jump on the bottom layer if I activate it in the settings, so I can jump through the song as well as set up loops. In stems, we can have these stems effects, where we can echo out the vocal or the instrumental. We also have the sampler, where you can access more slots, and then if we hold shift, you can access secondary layers. Things such as pitch play mode, which is great. We can choose a hot cue and then we can pitch up and down. And then to get to different parameters, like I said, hold shift and we can choose this parameter button here to go down and go back up. Again, if we hold shift and press loop 2, we go into the next mode, which is roll. Again, if I put the parameter down, we'll do half beat and a quarter beat. The last two modes, if we hold shift and stems 3, we've got the saved loop mode and manual looping. And then the last mode here, we've actually got scratch bank. So this is great for just quickly loading different tracks in, a desired hot cue, and you can load your scratch banks within the software. Okay, so the price comes in shy of $700. The competitor products around this price range are controllers like the Pioneer DDJ Flex 6 GT and Newmark Mixstream Pro Plus, which is a standalone unit that doesn't need a laptop to play on. However, there isn't anything else with moving platters like this in this price bracket. So realistically, it kind of stands alone. Honestly, if your goal is to be a scratch DJ, turntablist, or even somebody who used to mix on Technics, for example, but wants an entry into the new digital world of mixing, then this is definitely one of the best products on the market right now. You still retain that vinyl feeling, but you get the benefits of all the digital, things that we've covered in this review as well. Please note, it's not the only solution for those DJs I've mentioned, but if you have a budget that doesn't stretch to the direct drive motor-based controllers, this is a great option. Bravo Hercules for bringing this to market, and I hope to see beginners, veteran DJs, and everyone in between use this controller to DJ with. It's going to be great to see who adopts it. Oh, and before I forget, it's worth mentioning that we actually had a leak in the studio right here, and the Hercules took the full force of it. It guzzled the water up, and miraculously, it survived. Now, I'm not saying that this is waterproof by any means. Please don't go pouring water on it. I'm just simply stating that extra props to Hercules for building something that made it through a drenching on this occasion. Here's a video of Lawrence throwing down an epic mix on this waterlogged unit. Go check it out. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments. And if you're considering purchasing this as your first controller, we have dedicated Serato courses linked below to help you get started.